one, not as personal, but still a good one. It comes from a guy named Bubba out of Houston. He writes this: when Houston Texans made that trade, traded all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals for basically nothing. That had to be, quote, the worst trade in sports history. What do you guys feel is the worst trade in sports history?
I'm going to be honest. There are way worse trades than that one. Let's go back to 1989. This one sticks out because I really do not know why the Minnesota Vikings jumped in this one. But let's go back to the Cowboys side of the story. First season as head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson, he trades the running back Herschel Walker to the Minnesota Vikings for 3 first-rounders. Oh, and 3 second-rounders.
Yeah, and the cool part of that story is you have to remember the Cowboys were one of the worst teams in football at the time. I think they were 1-15 that season, and Herschel was a good player.
But the Cowboys were able to take those picks and convert them into players like Emmitt Smith, Russell Maryland, and Darren Woodson. And you know what happened next. The Cowboys, they went ahead and became a mini dynasty, 3 Super Bowls over a 4-year period back in the early 90s.
That certainly was a terrible and unfortunate result of that trade. Perhaps the worst trade ever. I think that's a good one. But I'll give you another one.
Okay.
1980, the Boston Celtics and Red Auerbach traded the number 1 and number 13 picks in the NBA draft to the Golden State Warriors. In return, the Celtics received the number 3 pick plus center Robert Parrish. And get this, with the number 3 pick, the Celtics drafted Kevin McHale. So as a result of the trade, the Celtics now had a front court of Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and Larry Bird, which many people consider the best front court in basketball history.
So who did Golden State pick with the number 1 overall pick?
I am so glad you asked. How about Joe Barry Carroll?
Who?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. And in that very first year after the trade, the 80-81 season, Boston went on to win the NBA championship. Larry Bird talked about winning that title.
Well, the first one's always a good one to get under your belt. We felt we had a pretty good team that year. I think with the addition of McHale and Parrish that year is what made the difference. And from that point on, I remember after the finals, I was thinking that, we got a good enough team here to win 5, 6 championships in a row if we just keep playing hard and playing together.
So with Bird, Parrish, and McHale, Boston made it to 5 NBA finals, and they won 3 of them.
You know what, Murph? That's a good one. Looks like Red Auerbach, I can't believe I'm saying this, did it again.
Yeah, he was a great judge of talent. That's what made him so special, right?
But didn't he also steal Bill Russell from the St. Louis Hawks?
Yeah, he traded a couple of players for their number 2 pick back in 1956, and it was another lopsided trade that helped out the Celtics.
Anyway,